400 years of slavery, thousands of years ago. The rulers were so unkind, but the people were so bold. God heard the people crying, he talked to Moses face to face. He said, go get my children, find a better place. Then they were running away to find a better place. Yeah, they were running away to find a better place. Time came to go. God said, make haste. Run away to find a better place. 200 years of slavery, 400 years are gone. Look how long we've been running and we still haven't made it home. God sees the people dying, boys, like the days of old. Save the one for when it's time to go. Like Moses, running away to find a better place. Like it saved Jesus, running away to find a better place. Signs of the judgment.
Hey YouTubers, this video was uploaded by Humble is the Way, first of all. And second of all, I'm just standing here. A good friend of mine, singing buddy, Southwestern years ago. Shout out to S-Dub.
SWCC.
Yes. And we were just talking about influences and how we've been influenced down the years by musical giants.
Yeah.
How we, how we listen to tapes back in the day of so many people. I can think of groups like Straight Company.
Yeah. United Quintet, Chicago.
Southside Saints.
Yeah.
In Alabama.
It's funny you said tapes, like,
who listens to tapes, right?
who listens to tapes?
I know
they
some
said,
people, yeah.
They said it about vinyls too at one point. Who listens to tapes?
I know all y'all listen to tapes though. I know you still listen to tapes because I have a verse 4 tape. Shout out to verse 4. And I know they had CDs last week at Southside's homecoming, and I didn't send you a message about that.
We need 2 copies.
We need 2 copies of
Two
the,
copies.
I'm not going to say my address on this camera.
No, don't do that. Because somebody will send you a list of songs they want you to sing at the next event.
But
The whole list.
I know. But we were talking about influence, and singers that have influenced us. And one of the most influential persons that we can think of that influenced all of us singers and all of you. If you are a worship leader, then you have no doubt been influenced by Chris Turner.
Yeah, without question. It's almost like the Bill Parcells coaching tree. You know, you got Belichick, you got Cornell, you got all these great guys that branch off, and CT, as we like to call him, Chris Turner, is definitely beyond description.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I'm 31 years old, and when he's in the building, it's almost like he turned into a 5-year-old all over again. Just watching, watching him still wow us.
Yeah.
He's still wow.
Chris is no doubt. I'll never forget. What I love about Chris is his accessibility. Because I'll never forget when I was maybe, I don't know how old I was, but he was doing the Campaign for Christ in Chicago. And he came all the way there. He was doing gospel meeting and singing. And so, of course, when you look up to somebody, you know what I mean, just being in their presence is always good. But I'll never forget he took the time to take me and somebody else to play basketball. And, aside from the things that we borrow as far as singing goes, just being accessible to the point where, you can be around him. And he's influenced so many of us. And, and I think that I don't think that song leading in the Church of Christ today would be what it is, even now, if it were not for Chris Turner. So,
Absolutely.
Big shout out to him.
Big shout. I mean, first time I saw Chris, I think I was probably about 4, maybe 5 years old, and I was just like, wow, like, that guy is, like, really, he's, wow, you know? And I think all of us have had that experience with Chris. Like you said, if you're a worship leader, if you're a worship minister in the churches of Christ, you'd be hard pressed to find someone who hasn't been influenced by Chris. Whether you listen to his music all day long, or you know, you stole one of his runs or riffs like I do all the time.
Yeah.
I steal from everybody. But you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who wasn't influenced in some shape, form, or fashion by him. And like you said, accessibility. Chris, he's always got time. Sit there and talk to somebody. He sees the value in people, even people that don't sing. He sits there and talks. It's almost mythological, the stories you hear about Chris Turner. Like, it's, you know, it's stuff of legend. But to know that someone that big, that great, always has time for anyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You don't find that very often. So it's just great to just be in his presence. I mean,
Absolutely.
literally, like even
right now.
Like if this were, yeah, I mean literally.
About Jesus.
Talking about Jesus.
Jesus.
Some of the people that we can think of.
Yeah, I mean Florence. And you changed lives and changed people's worlds. So you've been all over the world and done all kind of stuff for the kingdom.
Yeah, but and the reason I think it's important is because I think a lot of times some of our younger counterparts, they know about Chris, but some of his catalog is so extensive.
Yeah.
And then too, you know, there's so many others that I think, you know, because tapes are obsolete, there are so many people that you may not even know about.
Yeah.
That were great singers, you know what I mean, and influential. Even in not just worship leading, but you think about even producing.
Oh yeah.
Like, and this is a shift in the conversation, but you know, I know so many people. I played Johnny Wilder's music, and people are like, who is that? Because they've never heard it, and because it was on the tape, and, you know what I mean, or name another group that's on a. I'm trying to. I mean, there was a group in California, Joyful Noise. A lot of people will never know about them.
Joyful noise to the Lord. Yeah.
To make a joyful noise.
Yeah, stuff like that. And man, the Tabernacle CD, man, the tape, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so many people know about it, but man, Tabernacles.
You dating yourself.
Oh man. I remember it came out in '99. The CD that I know about came out in '99. But I don't even sing way before that.
Yeah.
But that, man, I'll never forget when I first heard it.
Yep, that
75.
was it.
Ooh, ooh, told your age, Paul.
I told Derek.
Man, that's some of the.
That was a game changer. You talk about game changing albums.
Man.
That changed the sound of music in the church, like for real.
Oh,
That Tabernacle CD, it still bumps to this day. Like,
timeless music.
Every word to every track to.
Man, like I remember where I was when I heard it. My mom had the tape. We were driving home from choir rehearsal, and she put it in, and it was, you know, back then, you know, just like y'all burn CDs now, because I know y'all don't be buying them. Y'all need to support these acapella artists. That's a side note. Stop ripping and burning.
We're gonna put that no burn joint like on that Purple Haze from Big Boy.
But I remember listening to that and playing the tape, and I wore it out.
Yeah.
And there's so much influential music.
Yeah.
So many, you know, so many things that if we're not careful, like so many people won't even know about it.
Yeah.
And I know it's important to know. But yeah, music in the church, it's a great, so many gifted people, so many talented people. And,
a lot.
And we've been influenced by many down through the years. And I guess the message we want to leave you with is just keep making timeless music. You know.
Keep making timeless music.
You know, and the worship leading thing, man, keep singing. Keep developing, keep growing.
You have to develop, you have to keep making timeless music. Because I'm going to be honest with you, when you put it on wax, it's out there forever. Like no matter what you do,
it's going to be there.
you will be known for that. You're gonna be known for it. There's no taking it back. It's out there. So.
We love how to play music. You know,
Yeah.
so many great things about it.
Even with worship leading,
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be, you know, you have a guy like Kelvin, who y'all call humble as the way like that's on his birth certificate or something. But
it is definitely
like, you know, you would have maybe like one or two guys with the big TV station camera sitting there, and you'd have to like, you know. But now, for your worship leaders, when you start talking about developing your sound and continuing to strive to be great. Remember, the camera is always on. It used to be a cell phone, it had a backpack. Then it went to just a little singular device that you hold in your hand. Now your phone isn't even used to call. Who uses their phone to really call anymore? Text. You know, apps, video, like the camera is always on. So just be cognizant of that. I mean, it's not to scare you, but to let you know, like the camera's always rolling. Always rolling.
And just keep pushing yourself. We were having a conversation with somebody yesterday. I think with worship leading, you know, so many people. Moment of transparency. So many people want to find you someone to model yourself after. You know, just like for us, like I said, Chris influenced us directly sometimes, and then sometimes indirectly. Find you someone to model yourself after. You know, if there's somebody that you look at, that you watch on a video or something like that, and you like what they do, absolutely not.
This guy here.
But when you find somebody that you like what they do, you know, find the good things that you like about them, and then work on becoming who you are. Work on finding your voice. You know what I mean? Because when you do imitate someone, people know that you're imitating. You know what I mean? We start singing like Chris right now. They'll know. But you want to find, you know, my advice is find your voice. And I know sometimes it's harder to find your voice. But take the things that you like, you know what I mean? Sample a little bit, you know? There are a lot of things that go into congregational singing. There's a lot behind it. But keep watching, keep learning, keep developing. If you're just getting started, you know, like I said, find somebody to model, you know what I mean? Develop and grow.
And you don't have to be them. Like it's funny, like we hear comments, oh, you're the next Chris Turner. No, I'm not. I'm not the next Chris Turner. I'm not. Like, there's only one Chris Turner.
Absolutely.
Bar none. Like, there's only one Chris Turner. There's only one Paul Williams.
Exactly.
There's only one Jason Walker. There's only one Earl Washington. There's only one Dwayne Pugh. There's only one Malcolm Himes. There's only one you.
Yeah, only one you. And that's
it's great to steal from these guys, but there's only one you, and there's only one them. So find your voice. And if you can, find someone you can sharpen yourself against. Iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely. Because competition, people will all day make a list of their favorites and stuff like that. And while in the grand scheme of things, there are different distinctions of talent levels.
Yeah.
That is absolutely unavoidable truth.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, the beautiful thing is your gift was given to you by God.
Absolutely.
And God gave you the right measure of what you have. And so that's why even in trying to aspire to copy somebody, you can't.
Yeah.
Because you have a gift that was placed inside of you.
Right.
And so you should hone what you have and seek to become better. And I think that it makes us all the more better when we do have an individual style. Style, there's nothing wrong with style.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You know, it's a beautiful thing how God has given different things. And it keeps us all humble. Because I know, you know what I mean? And as a worship leader, you'll know you have a skill set. There are some things that you can do well. There are some things that you might not be able to do well. You know what I mean? But you're continuing to try to grow. in what it is that you have, in your gift, because your gift, again, was given by God. And you continue to hone it. Continue to hone your
I can't, like, this guy is so, we're kind of like sandpaper, me and him. He's the smooth side. I'm definitely the rough side.
But you're smooth and rough.
No, guy. But
anyways,
talking about iron sharpening iron, when we were in school together, I was a freshman. Oh, I was a sophomore, and he was a freshman. And, you know, I was in school, you know, a lot of people knew me for singing, and he came on campus, and I was like, wow, this guy is nice. Now, I could have been like, man, he ain't all that, man. He's all right, he's cool.
Right.
I could have taken that route. But why? Acknowledge greatness when you see it. Here's a guy that comes in as a freshman and just blows the cover off of the music program. And I'm sitting here like, man, what can I learn from him while we have this year where we're both gonna be here? What can I learn from this guy? And I've learned, I mean, he's sitting here, humble pie over here, but there's
be humble.
Be humble.
Hold up. Sorry. We don't know those songs. We don't know those songs like that.
We don't know songs like that. Right. But there's so much that I learned from him just in, you know, 2-3 semesters. And even, you know, through the years, I've always watched, you know, videos of him. Y'all don't know I have green eyes. I have green eyes with envy.
Please. Are you serious?
But no. I watch him and I'm like, man, okay, cool. Like we have this thing where it's like, it's never a competition, but we know what's expected of us. We know what's expected of us when we're in the same room. And I think the great thing is we both recognize the gift that has been given to the other. And
with so many other, you know.
All we're trying to do is elevate. It's not a competition. It's like, okay, if Jason's going to do this, then I can't let the worship service down. I can't, because he's expecting something from me as well. It's like I'm expecting a certain level from him. So we try not to let each other down. And it just elevates and elevates and elevates and elevates. And we celebrate, like you said the other day, celebrating each other's gift.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
You definitely is.
You have
definitely
to. And like I said, I remember the first time I walked on campus. And again, you know, you grow up and you see some singers in your area. You sing with people, and then you go to a school where everybody can sing. And then I'll never forget, I first heard this guy and I walked in. I'm like, man, who is this big dude singing? Because he can really sing, you know what I'm saying? And you know, it just, what he does is, you know, like Mac's gift is sometimes it's indescribable, you know what I mean? And it's only explained, I think, by the Spirit, you know what I mean? And you all know, you know what I mean? When you listen to this guy sing, you know, what he does, not with his voice, but even with his words. And the beautiful thing, I'll never forget when we had a conversation. I remember, I'll never forget, and this is moment of transparency. I remember we were texting about something, and you went somewhere to sing. I ain't gonna say where. I'm trying to remember where it was, but I remember the conversation that we had because you were kind of discouraged during that weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I watched the video from when you sang, when you, because you text what you text to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, and I'll never forget, like, watching the video from after you texted me that you were discouraged, and I listened to what you were singing and how you were singing it, and I said, man, you know, like, you were made for this, you know what I mean? Like, straight up, you know what I mean? Because that stuff, you know, because what you know, you speak through that, and that's another thing for worship leaders, man. You have to, you gotta believe what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely gotta believe it.
What, you know,
Yeah.
your spiritual diet sometimes comes out in your singing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, what's going into you spiritually kind of comes out, because when it gets good to you, you know, people always ask, like, how do you do you improvise? How do you do what you do? It's his diet. I think it's his diet, and I'm like spiritual diet, you know. And I think, you know, you sing what you eat.
Yeah, you definitely do. Good in, good out.
Yeah.
Bad in, bad out.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. And I mean,
same for him.
and that's, you know, it's
Exactly.
like, you know, because people always wonder the improvisation or the freedom that comes in worship as you get to, your style comes out or whatever, you know what I mean? Where does the style come from? You know what I mean? The style is there, and at the same point in time, the substance is that diet, and then when you mix the substance and the style together, it makes for an explosive combination.
Life experience.
Life experiences, yeah.
It's funny to me that, you know, and it's no slight against anybody, but it's funny to me that people come to me all the time. I want you to sing my song. I want you to sing my song. Because I've had a rough week. I've had this happen, this happen, this happen. But it's like, a lot of times people don't acknowledge the fact that
You too.
I'm a human being and I've had
Me too.
a rough week as well.
Right.
It's just that I've been called on to do something. So a lot of times I have to push that to the side to help encourage someone else. And if I don't, or if we don't, take those experiences and release them through worship, then we're very ineffective. Very ineffective. It's almost like you're going through the motion, trying to just trying to get through this Sunday, man. Man.
And I know, see, you know, preachers get excited when they preach about the word, and when we sing, you know what I mean, we're singing the word of God. We're singing, you know, about God. You know, we sing how great we are God. It's an attribute of God. He's great. You know what I mean? Or whatever you're singing, and you begin to, it gets good to you. You know what I mean? Even in the midst of what you're going through. And then too, because, you know, as a worship leader too, you, like you said, when people come to you and say that, you know, sometimes even, you know, as a musician, when you have relationships with people in your church, you know, you hear some of the things that they are experiencing.
Yeah.
And you hear the prayer request cards, and you can see, you know, things on people's faces when they're experiencing stuff, and then, you know, it helps you, you know, it helps you, and as you sing to God and as you begin to praise God, you know, that you're going through your own whatever you're going through, and then you also in turn helping somebody else.
There's nothing worse than being out of touch with the people at your local congregation, because man, you're sitting through the prayer request. It's funny you mentioned that. You heard the cards just like everybody else heard them, and you know the mood of the congregation. You know where they are. And song selection is so important when it comes to that. And when you're in tune with what it is that you're doing, you'll recognize what needs to happen. You know, you come in, this is why, okay, don't try this at home, but that's why I rarely ever have a set list. I rarely ever have a list of songs, because you never know what's going to happen or what you're going to hear on someone's response card, or what you're going to hear in the announcements, or who passed away, or who's sick, or who's hurting, or who's whatever in their worship service, even visiting out of town, you know. So it's important to key in on those things as well, and that comes with time, that comes with development, but always be prepared for the worst going into that situation. And when you're in tune with the people at your local congregation, when you're in tune with what it is that you do, you're able to make that adjustment on the fly. And it's not like, oh, well, I need to sing this song because so let me get into this performance mode. It's not that. It's you make a connect with the people. You take the experiences that you've had over the years, and you connect with those individuals, and that makes for a great worship service. And a lot of times you find people's tears when they're in the storm, when they release that, is purifying. And when you get that out, then people are really ready to worship.
And that's a good, and here's a perfect example of that, because a good like methodology, like taking what you say, I know for me, there are some people who have to write a set list, and then they won't deviate from it. If you do, and that's because I do set lists, and and the thing is, what I'll do is, like, you know, sometimes you'll have something, but then it'll change. You know what I mean? Be flexible. Be open to that. Be open to
flexible.
Be flexible.
Be flexible.
because things will change, and sometimes the mood of the service will be one thing, and
And then you're trying to fight it because you have your set list.
Right.
The congregation's going one way,
Right.
and you're going another, and you think it's something wrong with them. You think they're just not wanting to sing with you. No,
Right.
they're emotionally detached from what it is that you're doing because it happens. It happens. I found that out a long time ago when I was about 12 or 13. The church wasn't rocking with me. I'm like, yo, what's wrong with them?
Right.
And then, as time went on, I caught on to it, what it was. And so all of that is important. And again, these are things that we've learned through the years, but we've watched some of the greats do that.
Yeah, even on the fly, even tonight, we sang a little bit tonight, and I leaned over to Chris and I asked him what we should sing in this moment, because not just because he knows, and that's the thing. I think
We still asking for
absolutely.
advice. Yeah, man.
Because I think I'm always marveling at how he chooses what he's going to sing and when, how, and it comes full circle again back to just years and years of watching other people do it, directly again and indirectly. It's just so great. It's a heavy task. It's a heavy privilege for worship leaders.
Yes, it is.
Because it's so open to people's criticism of what you do, and good or bad is very subjective in this whole thing. But at the same point in time, just keep growing. Keep growing. You're gonna hear a lot of things. People are gonna say you did good. Rarely people will tell you what you really need to hear. You know what I mean? And I found that out. People that love you may tell you, but I think unfortunately our culture, bad is, because bad is just not ever really.
Bad is good.
Right, bad is good. People will say even when it's bad because they don't want to say anything negative, which we're not saying it. But the whole point is, like, if you really want to be good, get you somebody that can tell you when it's really okay, when it's really bad. Was this okay? You know what I mean? And get you somebody trusted. You know what I mean? That'll tell you, well, son, you could have done this, or you could have done that. You know what I mean? And that's why mentorship is important. That's why we look up to Chris, because he will tell us if something is good or if something is bad.
That was. You need to go back and do that.
Right.
You need to go back. Look at something. Listen to the words. You need to go back and do that over.
Just tell me. You know what I mean? And that's so important. I think it's a huge, like I said, it's a huge undertaking to lead God's people in worship, and it's but it's a gift that like I said, the more and more I realize, where my life has led me, and I know you can say the same thing. You know what I mean? What I'm doing, singing wise, people I've been blessed to meet, people I've been able to serve, people I've been able to do things for. All of us, like I know for me, it's definitely, as Brother Orpheus is preaching all week, the hand of God, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
He's deposited things in our lives along the way, family, singing experiences, all that, and put you where you are, you know what I mean? And
for a purpose.
On purpose, yeah, it's definitely, it's true. And so keep singing, young brother,
Keep singing for me, Jesus.
Yeah, keep singing, brother. Keep hey, group out there that's singing and you're practicing and you get the notifications when videos come up. I know you weren't expecting this video, but hey, keep rehearsing. Keep striving for greatness, for excellence, you know what I mean? God didn't give us these gifts just to say mediocrity is okay. You know what I mean?
Because it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Just keep aiming for excellence in what it is that you're doing. Because what we do, you know what I mean, we get to, like I said, the responsibility of singing is such a great one. That's a whole different conversation. Yeah. Tiredness. But definitely, keep doing what it is that you're doing. Be encouraged in it. Don't be discouraged in it. Because we get discouraged in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We do. But
That's why we pick up the phone and be like, hey, man.
right. Absolutely. So find you somebody to talk to. Find you somebody to mentor you. And keep singing. You know what I mean? Keep appreciating. Keep thanking God for your gift, and keep celebrating other people's gifts. Because we got to keep using them. You know what I mean? We got to keep using them. We got to keep singing. We got to keep doing what we're doing for the glory of God. To lift Jesus up for real, and to help to move your local church forward. You know what I mean? With what you do. Singing is one of the first things people see when they walk into service, congregationally. You know what I mean? So it's the front door. You know, sometimes of your church. When people walk in, they hear somebody talking and you up singing. So take pride in what it is that you do.
Yeah.
You know, don't just think that it's not important, because it is important. What we sing, how we sing. It's a challenge, so keep after it. You know what I mean? All of that. So, and it's so visible. Singing is such a visible gift, and you want to make sure that when you are visible, because and it's not visible so that we can get glory, so that we can keep singing to ourselves, but it's visible so that in instances like this, when this like I said, when the camera's on, it's not just so church people see it. Church people, you got to be sharing these videos, because singing is a powerful gift. And I know you do, but true story, and we'll end with this. Somebody here in Brooklyn was walking on the street, and I'm not saying this because it's not a braggadocious thing. This is real talk. These videos are so powerful, you never know where they go. So I'm walking on the street, and somebody called out my name, and they said, "I know you." I'm like, "Okay, well, what you need?" And I was about to walk away. I was literally about to walk away from him, because I was kind of weirded out by the whole situation. He just walked up to me. He said, "Hey, I know you." And I was like, "Okay." And he said, "You're Jason." I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, you've been to the church?" He was like, "No, I've never been to church." I was like, "Okay, so how do you know me?" And I'm so serious. And his name is, I'm gonna say his name is Kyrie. I'm not gonna say his last name, so you can look him up. I'm crazy out there. But anyways, so his name is Kyrie, and he was here in Brooklyn. And he said, "Yeah, I know you." And I was like, "How do you know me?" He was like, I don't go to church." He said, "I saw some videos when you had short hair or something like that." I said, "Really?" He said, "You sing?" I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "I've never been to the church though." I was like, "I go to the King Church of Christ. You've been there?" He was like, "Nah, I've never been there. I don't go to church." I'm telling you, I don't go to church. I was like, "So how do you know me?" He said, "I've seen videos online of you." He was like, "You know this dude named Malcolm Himes?" I was like, "Man, that's one of my best friends." And really, he had seen videos, you know what I mean, on different channels. And I told him that we were having, this was a couple of years back, and I told him we were having something. He came that Sunday. And I see him all the time when I'm out there, you know what I mean? It's just, like I said, you never know where these videos go. They're so far reaching. And, as we're talking about appreciation, you know what I mean? Thank you, Humble. Brother Humble, no way.
Brother Humble, Kelvin Humble.
Right, thank you for putting the videos up.
Yeah.
It's a good ministry, you know what I mean? And a lot of people frowned on it at first. It was misunderstood because they didn't know who this guy was coming with the camera. But understanding the reason behind what he does, you know what I mean? It's to spread preaching and singing and all that, because the internet is such a
He's spreading
big
the
place.
gospel.
Spreading the gospel.
Modern day technology.
Really, and so we appreciate you. I appreciate your spirit. He's really a humble guy.
Really.
Really. And, love him to death. So, good people. And this conversation is going to end now. We've been talking for a minute. But much love to you all out there.
One more thing. And if you do not know who this video was uploaded by, believe me when I say
this video
was uploaded by Humble is the way.
Humble.
Brother Humble is the way.
Hey, it's for Humble. The way to be.